copyright. Thanks, Van Halen. Hi, it's Timmy Joe. We're running with the devil here. I think that's Van Halen. I'm dumb. I'm sick. I'm unshowered. I'm gross. I'm sexy. I'm going to check something weird out. Big listing for a load of computer parts for 50 bucks on Kijiji. And it's like 4 or 5 motherboards, 4 CPUs, a bunch of RAM, a bunch of like 10 graphics cards or 8 or 7 graphics cards. Now you might say, wow, Timmy Joe, that's an amazing deal. But actually it isn't, because it's all like stuff from the late 90s or early 2000s. So I still think it's going to be cool, and I still think it's totally worth more than the guy's asking for, but at the same time it's going to be questionable. But it's all in retail packaging, so that's kind of cool. So we're going to go see what it's all about, and you know, maybe I can get some money for eBay and I can do an old build or something. All of this was 50 bucks. Okay, look at all this stuff. This is insane. So this, 50 bucks, okay? And what, I thought maybe this guy owned a storefront or something like that. But it turns out he is an avid flight simulator connoisseur, and has been for at least 20 years from the looks of this hardware. So he doesn't just have, like, you know, 3 screens set up and a couple of flight yokes. He, if you've seen this video here, has a box with like 5, 6, 7 screens in it. You know, a crazy amount of control sticks and hardware for some really specific flight simulator stuff. And this is everything he's been, you know, upgrading over the years, and he just kept it and decided that finally he needed to make some room in his crawl space. So, my benefit. So I figured we go through every little piece here, and you know, you guys can tell me what kind of videos you want to see out of this stuff. I think I'll definitely make 2 generations of systems, because there are motherboards for like some really old DDR1 stuff, and then there's definitely some hardware that's a little bit later generation, getting into PCI Express. But let's just start off here with a few things. Number 1, there is, you know, Sound Blaster, Audigy, PCI card, you know, nothing crazy. You know, AGP video card, you know, stuff like this, you know, you'd see normally, you know, back in the day, 20 years ago. But then this is where it gets interesting. Now, there are 2 AGP cards here. The Radeon 9800 and 9600 Pro, very high-end cards from the time, but they don't look much different than this thing here. But this is kind of where it starts to get different. You can tell this is past 1998 because we've got Half-Life actually 2 on here. So this is like, you know, 2004-ish. Right at the switch of AGP to PCI Express, so this is still an AGP card. And I just wanted to show this one because it kind of shows right at the turn of where things went from just being, you know, cards and computers to being a little bit more than that. So this is the ATI Radeon X800 XL, and you know, it has an enthusiast grade you know, cooler on it. It has a blower style cooler. It's, you know, pretty cool looking. It's pretty dusty though. But this is, you know, AGP. This is slow stuff. You know, DDR1 or GDDR3 apparently. It's got 256 megs of GDDR3 on it. High-end graphics card with 16 pixel pipeline for high definition gaming. So, you know, this is just right at the turn of where I think things started to get crazy. Now I'm going to box this stuff all back up, but I will be cleaning it and testing it eventually, so don't worry too much about how I box it back up. So the next card is probably right in around the same generation. If I can get this back in here. A little bit later, but this is the Radeon X 1900 XTX, and this is where we get to double the GDDR memory and PCI Express. So this is where things get, you know, changed from the old school to the new school, in my opinion. And you can see that's a pretty rockin' box there. And I love that he has all the retail boxes for this stuff. I never keep this stuff personally, but this is an enthusiast grade card. And we have the katana wielding ATI chick, I forget her name, but this is a serious blower on this. You know, this obviously requires some serious cooling, and you know, still has traits of modern cards on it. So you know, pretty cool stuff. But it's an ATI card, and that's, you know, still before AMD bought the company. Still old generation stuff back when ATI was a separate Canadian company, I will add. But yeah, that's pretty cool looking. So I would have think that those two cards would have been in the same kind of era of computers for this dude. And then he would have upgraded to the next part. So the next one here is still a Radeon. Loved his ATI stuff. Radeon 3870. Now I've done some testing on a 4760, but this is a serious enthusiast grade card. You can see there from the packaging. You know, it's a blower on it still. So that's a PCI Express video card, and it has, I'm going to say 1 gigabyte. Oh, still 512 megs of GDDR4. So you don't hear about 4 very often. I think 4 was just a faster variation on 3, where 5 is a completely different thing. But copper heat pipes on it. It's going to need some good cleaning on it, but pretty cool looking card there. Ice Q, keeping her super, super cold. So now we'll move on to the only NVIDIA card that he had, but it's a good one. I would say even this might play some modern games, but this next one here, BFG. I don't know if they're even still around. I don't think they are. GeForce GTX 280. So this is going back a ways, but this is a mega card, okay? Look at that one. That is awesome. GTX 280. So this has a gig of GDDR3 on it, I think. Yeah, a gig. 1 gigabyte of GDDR3, a clock speed of 615 megahertz, and let's see, I think this is still before CUDA came along. But yeah, this would be definitely worth putting in a modern computer and doing some testing. So I look forward to that. It needs a 6 and an 8-pin power connector there. So it does need some serious power. Still no HDMI on that. So that isn't it for video cards, oddly enough. There are 2 or 3 more little ones that don't mean too much. But let's move on. There's obviously there's 4 motherboards, and they're DDR1. So you know, they use DDR1, and I like that he bought the good old heat spreader DDR here. But there's only like 2.5, 4. Oh, yeah, there's only 4.5 gigs worth of memory there, and there's 6 DIMMs. So this guy would have spent thousands of dollars on this computer hardware every time he upgraded it. Like, he is a serious PC enthusiast. I didn't really see what was in his flight sim systems now. Maybe I'll see if I can't get that guy to let me back in there for a better look at that flight sim. But there are Athlon CPUs here that range anywhere from 2100. So this is 2100 might be like 1400 megahertz, like 1.4 gigahertz. I think something like that. But it was an equivalent to a 2.1 gigahertz Pentium. There's a 3200 under this heat sink. And I love that this guy kept all of the retail packaging. The best one he has here, there's a few other here. There's a 64-bit, and there's, what's this one, 2700. But the best one here is a dual-core Athlon that's an X2 dual-core socket 939 AM2, I believe. But there's 4 motherboards, so I can definitely make 1 or 2 PCs here, and you know, develop a little DDR1 test bench or test system. I think that's what we'll do. We'll do a build out of, you know, the best of the AGP, you know, years of this or whatever. But that's about as far as we're going to go with that. Look at this Volcano Extreme Cooler. This would have been some high-end cooling from the time from Thermaltake. It's got a copper slug in it. It's got a pretty crazy fan in there. And then, you know, nice guy that he is, he included some PCI network cards, so I'll be able to network attach a, you know, Windows XP computer or something like that. And this weird bridge that allows you to use 2 different monitors with the same PC, or 2 different PCs with the same monitor, I guess it would be, and keyboard. I think that makes more sense. And a router, of all things, and some CD drives. So yeah, we have like an extreme amount of hardware here, and we have videos for eons with this stuff. I want to know what you guys think of this stuff, and if it's worth even doing, you know, too many videos on it. But I would love to, you know, if there's some stuff from here, from your past, and you want me to benchmark it, you know, to some today's standards or something like that, by all means. But this is like, you know, my prime of computering would have been around this time. I think the late 2000s, you know, is when I kind of started to fall off a bit, and I picked it back up, you know, a couple years ago. But this stuff, DDR1, this is the, I used to go to the pawn shop here and I would buy, you know, this stuff. And before you could just buy it online, it's so much cheaper. And I think that's where he might have got a lot of this stuff, was ordered it through there, or maybe he had an online contact. But I'm at Watch Timmy Joe. Check me out on Twitter, because you could have saw preview pictures of this stuff. There's also a contest on Twitter. If you help me get to 10,000 subscribers, you could win a Ryzen PC. And if anyone out there, you know, needs some of this stuff, let me know. Contact me. I'd love to, you know, help someone out if they're building an old system or something like that. Maybe we can work something out. But you know, there's a lot of stuff here that I think would have been thrown out by now, so it's worth it to, you know, keep the ball rolling. There's some, you know, pretty crazy AGP video cards you probably can't get a hold of very easily anymore, but I will eventually put a lot of this stuff up on eBay, because I'm not going to hold on to all of it, but I'm going to build the system out of it, and it'll be cool. So I'm at Watch Timmy Joe, Instagram and Twitter. You know, check this thing out. Like that's a video card. That's the beginning of your gaming, of your 1080. Okay, right there. So check me out on Twitter. I'm Timmy Joe, and I will see you in the next video.